And I think we're live. Hey, everybody. Just getting set up here. Unfortunately, today's broadcast is going to be a shorter one. Had some technical difficulties on the back end and with my primary YouTube channel, Vacation Impossible. I was trying to get a video out today, and I was just running into no end of difficulties. So I did finally get it out, and even though I uploaded a custom thumbnail, YouTube wasn't displaying it. Ace of Vegas, hey, welcome to the show. So I was fighting with that for a while, and I was having trouble getting some social shares. They were glitching out on me. So anyways, I'm here now. I've only got about an hour, I'm sorry to say, but we'll do everything we can. Way to wreck your production. Well, you know, that makes me feel better about not being able to go for the 2 hours that I wanted to do, and instead only being able to go for probably 1 hour, is I won't totally destroy your productivity today. My productivity today was getting destroyed all over. It was ridiculous. There was so much noise in my neighborhood. I was trying to record some voiceover for this tutorial that I was getting up. And it took me like 2 hours to record 7 minutes of clean audio. And even then, I was rushing. I feel bad about it because it was like, oh, hey, you know, they stopped cutting down the tree next door for 2 seconds, so I better record it quickly. And so I think the quality of the voice work was rushed as a result. Speaking of voice work, how do I sound? Is there an echo? Any audio problems that you guys are noticing at all? I'm just sharing this in a variety of Facebook groups. But yeah, it also seems like the ambient noise in the neighborhood has finally died down, and that was one of the things I was waiting for before going live, because, you know, I don't think you guys want to tune in just to listen to a weed whacker on the other side of where I am. So anyways, I'll shake it off once I'm done social sharing and we get to dive in, and I'll quit my whining, don't you worry. You know, loud and clear. Thanks, Ace of Vegas. But hey, you know, YouTube life, YouTube struggles. Oh, great, yeah.
The mic's off.
See, so rushed. I forgot to turn my speakers off, and I forgot to turn off my Google Home Mini. And so it was like activating because, I don't know, I said something that was too close to the word Google. It's so weird living with that in the house because you can't use the word Google around it, or else it thinks like, hey, you talking to me? What's going on? And so we've had to call it by like a nickname. We call it the air filter because that's kind of what the thing looks. Oh my gosh, you're chatty today.
Slide the switch on the back of Google Home.
But it looks like an air filter a little bit. Maybe a little bright for you to see. And so that's what we call it. We call it the air filter because if we were to refer to it by name, it would activate and be like, what's going on? What can I do for you? I didn't get that. So, all right. Shared it across Facebook, sharing this live. Oh my gosh. Am I sharing the right thing? I've got a bad feeling that I just used the wrong URL. Let me just quickly check. Oh no, it's the right thing. It's so weird. You know those random characters that are created? The URL for this very live stream looks an awful lot like the URL for the video I released on Vacation Impossible earlier today. And I'm like, oh my god, did I not clear the clipboard? Am I copying the wrong URL? Okay, no, everything seems fine. Chill, it's all good. All right. It's tweeted. It's Facebooked. It's shared. We've got our audio check done. So let's get into it. Okay. All right, 1 hour off track today. Okay, yeah. See, that's not so bad. I don't know. It's like even crows and like there's a woodpecker that's trying to attack like a metal pole. There's just so much noise in my neighborhood today for some reason. So, anyways, let's dive into it. Ace of Vegas, you're the first one to speak in chat, which means you're the first one that gets my undivided attention. Stream looks clean. Thank you. I've been thinking about some design aesthetics, and I'm questioning this up here. Like, do I want the YouTube and Twitter thing there? I don't know. And the corners, I don't know, but something for me to think about. So, Ace of Vegas, is there anything I can do for you today? I know I've done a channel review for you once, but ages ago. I can also look at, you know, a video or whatever. As you guys probably know, if you've tuned in before, this live stream has 2 rules. One, I'm not subscribing to anyone because I don't want chat to become a bunch of people trying to sell their channels to me. And 2, I'm not going to be watching any videos. I don't want content ID match. I don't want you to think I'm trying to steal your content. I'm not. And a long video takes up all our time. But I will be willing to look at, I can look at the videos for title, description, tags, that kind of stuff, thumbnails, whatever, if you like. I can do a live tutorial, show you how to do something specific. I can answer your questions about YouTube or about what it's like to run a large Facebook group. There's a couple of pieces of news in that area, actually. YouTube has recently disabled live streaming from mobile devices for anyone who has less than 1,000 subscribers. So some people are very upset about that, and it doesn't affect me because I've never done it. But I can appreciate having something that you have, and then suddenly it's taken away, and you've got this bar to clear to get it back. I mean, that's what happened to all of us with well, not all of us, but a lot of us with monetization about a year and change ago. So I can appreciate how frustrating that is. I've heard some theories that it was because people were live streaming some things that were objectionable content. I'm not sure that having 1,000 subscribers is the way to address that, because just because you have 1,000 subscribers doesn't mean you're a good actor. It doesn't mean you behave well. It probably improves the likelihood of it. I just don't know that that's the right tool to solve the problem. I think they took the solution they used for something else, the adpocalypse, and they busted it out for a completely unrelated problem. Assuming we understand exactly their motivations and reasoning. All right, a quick aesthetic glance at the channel. Getting good traction on views and decent on subs, just looking for things to clean up. Sure, aesthetic with an eye towards cleanup. I like that. That is different. I do like the odd different request. Keeps things fresh for everybody. Yeah, okay, so, I mean, you've got the profile picture, which is you holding the playing card, and it says Ace, and it's in the style of the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. So, that's very on brand. I think that's pretty good. Looking at some of the other results coming up here, best games in My Vegas. What happens Vegas Live, Andy something. That's interesting because my best game. Interesting. I'm not sure about that. It's an interesting aesthetic on that thumbnail because you've got the image, which is sort of smaller, sort of letterboxed, and then you've got the font crossing it. I would probably just make that image the whole background. Make it a little bit larger so it's a little bit easier to see. And you're running into that issue of the bottom right-hand corner of thumbnails containing the time code. So it doesn't look like it's vital information there, but like you've got the My Vegas logo, it looks like, behind the time code. And so I would consider moving that somewhere else, because if you're talking My Vegas, that's like tons of people use it. I have it. I play it. I haven't in a long time. I've never actually redeemed anything, but friends of mine have when we travel. And so having that a little bit easier to see and not having text in that bottom right-hand corner. It's the bottom right, like 10-20% of your image. Yeah, maybe 10%. It's just that time code can pop up and cover up stuff. So having vital information there is slightly problematic. How to beat My Vegas Blackjack. That's pretty good. That font is a little bit hard to read. It's not too bad, but again, you've probably heard me talk about the Bebas font, or Bebas New, spelled B-E-B-A-S, and it's free to download. You can Google it and install it into sort of any Windows PC at no cost, and it's a block font that's very legible and it scales very well. So at multiple resolutions, it's still nicely readable. Now I'm noticing that you're using this font consistently though, so that could just be kind of your consistent font, which is fine, and you can absolutely stick with it. One way to increase the readability is to maybe put a bit of a drop shadow on it, or an outer glow that's in contrast. I think drop shadow would look better. That's just my personal thing, but hey, we're talking aesthetics, and aesthetics is very personal, so I'm just trying to prompt ideas. So yeah, King Fame versus Ace Vegas. That's obvious. I mean, I assume that's not you. I don't know. It's not your channel, but I'm wondering, like, yeah, what is that? I don't know. And then there's another result for you there. Best games, and again, that background image may be making it the whole background of the thumbnail. I think it might. I think it would look a little more professional, and I think because you wouldn't have those hard lines of the outline of the image. And it would fill the space. It'd be easier to tell what that image is, and then you could work on making the colors in the image pop, which, I mean, the colors are popping in the first couple that we're looking at here, but the one with best games, the colors inside the game part are slightly muted. Not a lot, but I think that those colors could really work for you if it was larger, and you kick up that vibrance that I've talked about in previous live streams. Go into Photoshop, increase vibrance, and saturation by, say, 25 points each. If it starts to look unnatural or weird, then instead do just 50 on one or 50 on the other. Play with the toggle of the preview button and see how it looks. And when you make the colors richer and they pop more, then the eyes are more likely to be drawn to it. You're not seeing what looks like compression artifacts, and it looks better as a result. Sky Combat Ace Las Vegas intro video. Okay, I mean, I assume that's nothing related to yours, but it's interesting. So, yeah, your description. The best My Vegas slots guide online, period. We have My Vegas tips and tricks, the best My Vegas hacks, all the My Vegas. And I mean, that's great. That's a great space. There is, as I understand it, a fairly strong Facebook community around that game where people share promo codes and things like that. So you probably already know that. I'm probably telling you things you already know. But on the off chance, the 1 in a million you don't, that could be a place where you could possibly find a very good audience if you follow whatever the rules of those various groups are. There's a multitude out there, and I think they've got like tons of members. I used to go in there every now and then to just collect all the promo codes. Rather than following every Twitter account, they just like all the Twitter promo codes. Click, 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 click. And as I understand it, that I think that that's not a violation of the rules of the game. You would be the expert to speak on that. And actually, if you don't have a video about that, you might want to consider making one. You could even possibly reach out for a partnership. There was a group that I was in that was very large, and I got banned from, and that sucks because I had a huge audience there. If I shared the right video in the right way in that group, I could get like 1,000 views on a video in a matter of hours. But I'm locked out of heaven. And part of it was they had a change in their rules where they didn't allow people sharing videos anymore, but they didn't do any kind of an announcement or warning about it. And so suddenly I didn't change my behavior, but I was apparently on the wrong side of the rules. And the group had over 150K people in it. So with over 150,000 people there, getting your voice heard for a possible like, hey, you know, can I get back in kind of thing, all of my messages were ignored. And so, I mean, that kind of sucks. And it's kind of funny because I'm running a group that I think sometime this weekend's going to hit 80K. And so, I mean, I'm starting to see the struggle from the administrative side. You get a lot of messages, and a lot of them don't make sense. How much time do you invest in saying, how many times can you type to somebody who's spamming you with question mark messages? I don't know what you're saying before you're like, I don't have time for this anymore. I've got my own stuff to do. So, I mean, I appreciate that, and I'm not bitter about it, but part of the problem is that they had partnered with some other group that did like a podcast and a YouTube channel in a similar topic. And so those people were sharing with reckless abandon. And I guess that they had an exception carved out from the rules, but that wasn't publicly stated anywhere. And so the admins and the mods of the group would be interacting with it and, you know, being like, oh, hey, great video. Oh, I love being on your show. Like they had the admins on the show. And so it was like, well, you would think that that's endorsing that kind of behavior. So between that and sort of the secret rule change, I ended up on the wrong side and was locked out. And so were some of my friends, not for that necessarily. Other rules had changed that they ended up on the wrong side of. And so that's one of the things about our Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/small YouTubers Boost, is I try not to change the rules practically ever. I try to tweak the wording a little bit from time to time to make it more clear, but we've got 4 rules. And the one that trips people up a lot is the rule about when you share a link, you need a description of the content you're sharing. So I can't say that enough. If any of you are watching and you're in the group, please remember that one. If you do that consistently, you'll get post pre-approval, and then your post will go live without a review. So anyways, getting a little off topic there, but the point that I'm coming to here, and I know it's not aesthetic, but it's just an idea I had that I want to share, is that you might be able to, with some of those groups, maybe reach out and have a partnership possibly. I don't know. But if you were like the official channel in support of the group, or like the group members, like you did the thing that other channel did, because I guess they just were on the scene sooner. They had that ability. There might be some synergistic opportunities between you and that Facebook group if that's a thing that might be worth pursuing. And I mean, generally speaking, it doesn't hurt to ask. So that's something to think about. Some other things, some interesting thoughts about what I'm seeing here. Like, I know I haven't actually gotten into your channel yet, but one thing that I would suggest, I'm just getting myself a Tums, getting a little acid reflux on my stressful day fighting the internet, is like, how can we get all of these things you, right? And so one thing possibly is, have you done a video about My Vegas rewards that allow them to see famous people? And so that maybe you could chase after a keyword ranking of see famous people in Vegas for free. That might be. I don't know what the volumes are like on that. You could do your own research with TubeBuddy Search Explorer, for example. Those of you that don't know, TubeBuddy is a browser plugin. It's got free and paid options. There's a link below. It's an affiliate link. Video's not sponsored. But you could go into like Search Explorer and maybe try some different keywords. And so if you were to make a video talking about specifically the rewards that might let you see celebrities, I don't know, can you get an extra ticket to Boyz II Men or Blue Man Group or some other thing? I don't know, but that could be, that could be a really compelling. I mean, it sounds a little clickbaity, but just keep it accurate. I mean, your thumbnail could be see famous acts, famous people in Vegas for free. It's not untrue. They click the video, you show them how through the app, through the game. That could be a good idea. And so again, I know, like, I think that they have things like helicopter tours and stuff like that. So, you could be like, see the skies over Las Vegas for free, something like that. And then that might be some ways that you could conceivably draw in a bit more audience, which I know isn't your goal here, but hey, why not, right? Let's take a look at the actual channel. Oh, you got a trailer. Looks like he's sitting down in front of a green screen, just to begin there. Welcome to Fabulous Ace of Vegas. I like that. That's pretty cool. I mean, aesthetically speaking, the spacing between the letters of Vegas, it doesn't look like of and Vegas are separate words. So the space between letters in things like Photoshop is called kerning, I believe. So you might want to adjust the kerning of the word of and Vegas to bring the space between the letters a little closer, and then maybe add an extra space between of and Vegas, so that you make it clear that those are separate words. They're easier to read, but you keep it within the white sort of shape so that you don't make it wider necessarily. I think that would work really well. I like the black and white aesthetic, although the thought occurs to me that if the sign is color and the background is black and white, that might really pop. So it depends on kind of what you're going for. Are you going for like the old world charm, like the old world? It's not really like the old days of Vegas, where you had the Rat Pack and Sinatra and stuff. Like one of my favorite things, my most popular video is actually filmed in Vegas. It's James Darren live at South Point, and that was an amazing show. And so he was sort of on the periphery of the Rat Pack. He's of that era. So when I was in Vegas going to see him, I've seen him twice there now. It really kind of evoked that sort of, that nostalgic, classy charm of a different age. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were problems in that age in terms of, like, equality and other various things. But there was a certain charm to, the nice singers in the nice suits who were famous and put on a good show. And so this is a little evocative of that, and I like that. It gets away from maybe the garish neon sense of more modern Vegas. I don't know. And I mean, that's good or bad. I kind of like both, honestly. But I wonder if there was, like, if the color was in the sign against the black and white contrast, that might pop really nicely, or it might confuse the aesthetic. I don't know. That's just a thought that I had. So you got a fan page, Twitter, Instagram, and... Sorry, is that Twitch? Do you live stream playing the game? You could totally do that, couldn't you? That never occurred to me. Yeah. That's a cool idea, if you're doing that. I mean, if you're not, if people click that and they just watch playing some Fortnite or something, that'd be weird. But if it's you actually playing the game, the Facebook game, or the mobile app game, whichever version or both, that's smart. That's pretty good. So... I see here that looking at your thumbnails, there's a little inconsistency in font color, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you want to make things clear with like certain playlists or themes. But I think that like the yellow font that you're using is popping really well. The dark red on how to redeem the points is a little lost, and the green's a little bit lost too. And so it's the yellow against the blue, the yellow against the purple. That's really popping. And so like the signature at MGM Grand Fall thing, that would be a little tricky because the wall and the light that you're setting it against has a yellow tone. So putting yellow against that would be problematic. So I don't think going yellow on that font is a good idea for that thumbnail. Quick note about that thumbnail, though. It says fall of 2018. I would recommend going in and removing fall of 2018 from the thumbnail because you're dating the content a bit. As we're now into 2019, even though that's less than a year ago, it feels older because it's 2018, even though, we have yet to hit fall of 2019. And so I think that you could remove that, and I think yeah, I don't know about using the @ symbol. If you want to keep the @ symbol, because I believe that's how MGM styles it, then maybe the @ needs to be in a different font because it's so thin. It looks like Times New Roman versus like an Arial bold, which is the rest there. And it's a special character, so it might not format exactly the same way, even if the font's the same or if it's not. But it's a bolder thing because the @ is almost being completely lost. And if I'm only glancing at it, it almost looks like a copyright symbol rather than the ampersand. Or sorry, the @ ampersand is something else. You might want to consider an ampersand. That would work too, possibly, if it looks good. Yeah, I mean, I think a consistency of font is a good idea, just for a professional look, more identifiable. I mean, honestly, you know what? I'm gonna do something right now. It's not what you asked, but whatever. It's my show. I think it'll help. I'm just curious. If I just if I search in YouTube, now I'm not incognito. This is just me. But if I search My Vegas, where do you rank on that? Well, golly, you're owning the hell out of that. That's awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the top 6 results are all you. You are owning it. That's awesome. That is fantastic. I was just curious. It's good news for you. All right. So, yeah, you've got popular uploads, how to play My Vegas slot series, uploads, getting free stuff in My Vegas, MGM hotels and reports. That's cool. Stuff there. You know, your channel is so niche in a great way. Don't get me wrong. It's in a delightful way. And you're owning that search term. You are the channel of that app, as far as I can tell. Since you've got that on lock, I'm wondering if you actually want your channel structured the way that it is for layout. Because it's interesting, you have popular uploads first, and then third is uploads, which is a little different to begin with. But I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm thinking about maximum effect for your audience. Your audience are people who play the app or want to play the app, people who want free things in Vegas, who go to Vegas. I think that describes at least some of your audience. And you might want to consider playing around with some Facebook analytics that I showed in an earlier live stream, and I have a video about as well. Just to learn a little bit more about, like, what's the age demographic of people playing that game. I wonder if there's a way that you could figure that out. But putting that aside, what I'm thinking is, let's have some great value add right at the top of your channel. So with most YouTubers, I say, hey, recent uploads at the top, a little further down, popular. But I'm not sure that's the approach to take here. I think it's like strategies for how to win and or how to play. Like, I know you've got the how to play playlist. And so maybe that's first. I don't know. Because it comes down to a question about your audience. This is one of those moments where understanding your audience is really critical. Because if your audience is people who are already playing the game and want to figure out... Because I played that game, and I remember early on, I was like, which of these, like, 24 games I can play has a better payout rate? I mean, and can you even know that? And is it always best to do max bet and stuff like that? And what's, you know, have people figured out the behind the scenes of it, right? And so I did some searching. That's how I found those Facebook groups. Not necessarily thinking to search YouTube videos. Partly because I was searching at a place where I wasn't able to listen to sound, so I was looking for text. So, anyways, the point being is what I was looking for early on might have been how to use it, but then very rapidly after that would have been how to basically game it or be more effective at it. So I'm thinking if your audience is mostly people who don't know how to use it, then put the how-to first. But I suspect your audience is more people who want to do better at it. Otherwise, why are they searching for it? So that may be a playlist of your best tips, and structure it so that your 5 best tips. Now, when I say best, I'm not talking about best thumbnail or best most views. I'm talking about most effective. Give them the greatest value for the very specific niche thing that they would be coming to your channel for. You know, and that's the thing. One video about which games have the best payout, if there is even anything about that. And honestly, you could just talk about how, if it's not known, you could talk about how it's not known. Give them an answer, even if it's an answer they don't like. Make it real so that you gain trust. And then the second one is like, you know, how to maximize your payouts. And then maybe like a couple videos, one for each of the games. You know, how to betting strategy for Excalibur, betting strategy for this game, betting strategy for, you know, Bedrock or whatever other one you might recommend. Make that like your top 5. Those are the first things that people see, because I think your click through rates on your homepage will be very good for that when they land here. And then yeah, underneath that, maybe just the basics of how to play. And then go from there. Then maybe popular uploads or uploads, or how to claim free stuff. How to claim free stuff might be actually a good third. And then yeah, like uploads and or popular uploads, and then MGM hotels and reports. Yeah, I would probably keep that towards the bottom, just because it's not off-brand, but it's a little tangential to what you're doing. So I think that. That would be a good idea. And again, when I think about these thumbnails, like Mandalay Bay, Trip Report, January 2018. So what I would suggest is at the big, like maybe this would be a good workflow habit for you. Is in January of any given year, you go over all your thumbnails and anything that has the previous year, update it to remove the date. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not bad to refresh your thumbnails every now and then, but then it makes it slightly more evergreen content. I mean, it's been years since I've been to Vegas. I've been to Vegas about 6 times. I still have videos up about Vegas. My James Darren video, after like 10 years, is still going strong. Relatively strong. Not as strong as it used to. I used to own the search term James Darren on Google and YouTube, and I don't anymore. I'm not entirely certain why, but it could be because that video is not HD. It could be something as simple as that. But whatever it is, so even you know, something that can be a little older, you know, it can be evergreen content. I would just remove the date from the title and the thumbnail. Keep it in the description, maybe. Make it like the 3rd or 4th line of the description. 4th. Go for 4th. The reason for that is that when people see that, oh, January 2018, well, that's over a year ago, that gives them a reason not to click. But if that said January 2019, that gives them a reason to click because it's very current. So that's what I think is for your thumbnails. Keep those months and years up as long as you're still in that same current year. But the second you're no longer in that year, go back and redo those thumbnails to take out the dates, is my suggestion. And you can make the other stuff a little bit bigger as a result and slightly more visible. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I'm just... And I mean, your thumbnail game is strong, but it's a little inconsistent. And it's not inconsistent in quality. It's just you're making different stylistic choices. And that's not a bad thing, but I think that you would benefit from, you know, a little bit more consistency. And yeah, just with an eye towards readability. But I mean, you're doing quite well there, I think. That's sort of my aesthetic thoughts. Sorry, I just got a notification on my phone. I just want to quickly check. I'm waiting on... I'm like super close to hitting 1.3K on Vacation Impossible. These TubeBuddy milestones, so, I mean, some of them are crazy, like, oh, 120 subscribers is a milestone. I'm like, is it? But for some reason, I'm really looking forward to hitting this one, and I've been like one away for like a day now, and so I had a subscriber notification, and I was like, oh, did I make it? No, I didn't make it. Anyways, in terms of like milestones, 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1 million, and 10 million are, and then 50 million, I think, are all real milestones. The reason that those are real milestones, in my view, is that they unlock functionality on the platform. All the other stuff, they're sort of milestones, they're accomplishments, and you should be proud of them. But it's funny, like when people post in the Facebook group and they're like, I'm really trying to hit, you know, 310 subscribers by the end of, you know, the lunar cycle. I don't know, something like that. No, I just kind of look at that and I'm like, that's an interesting goal. I don't identify with that goal very much. But if it's like, hey guys, I'm almost at 100 so I can get my custom URL, I'm like, yeah. That's just a personal thing. That's just me. Anyways, let's see what's happening in chat. TubeBuddy helps with tags. It absolutely does. Smash the like team. Cunning. Yes. Sure. I'll take it. Cunning sounds like a compliment. Saw your link in the Facebook group. Welcome, Charles Baldwin. Oh, actually, that reminds me. There was a fellow in the group who was saying that he was worried his chats weren't coming up, but I can't remember the name. So I don't think I'm seeing it here. anyways, hopefully we can resolve that. Let's see here. So, Peak Time Racing, you were the second person to comment in chat. Did some work with you just recently in terms of looking at your channel. Sky Combat, not so much. Yeah, that's a tough one to take over. Ace of Vegas. I deleted the name of the font. What was it called again? Bebas? B-E-B-A-S? So anyways, yeah, Peak Time Racing. That was a great video you put out on your vlog channel, by the way. I really enjoyed watching that. It gave me some new things to think about, some things I hadn't thought about before. You know, talking about, he talks about the social interaction that you kind of lose when you're going from a day job to working YouTube full-time. And that was something that didn't really occur to me. It almost makes me want to start up like a social club for YouTubers here in Vancouver, because he's not too far from here. I have the time for that kind of thing. I really don't. But maybe if one day I quit YouTube, I quit my day job to do YouTube, maybe I could start up the social club. But that was an interesting. Yeah, there were some interesting things to think about and different dimensions to it. So I really appreciated that video. I thought that was quite good. So yeah, thanks for also the shout out there. Move on to the next person. Cool. Yeah, and I mean, hey, if you're ever yeah, so happy to provide that service for socialization. And you know, if you do find yourself struggling for ideas, that is, I mean, maybe partly because I don't do it full time. I've never run into that. But since the day that I decided to start filming anything, and I remember this, it was back in 2001. I was getting ready to go on my first epic road trip with my friend John, and he was in the Navy, the Canadian Navy. He was coming back from a tour in Asia where he bought a whole bunch of film, because it's 2001, dirt cheap. And he says, I'm going to take a picture every kilometer of our trip. And then he gets a camcorder. He says, I'm going to film every kilometer of our trip. And my first thought, I remember, was like, well, that's boring AF. And so I was like, well, no, let's be strategic. Let's not, waste our time. We'll have a bunch of footage of the road that we'll never want to watch again, And I think that was the moment where that was like my first YouTube decision moment, where it was like, okay, that was me deciding between good and bad content. And then we started to film from there, and that's how that started. But from that moment, I've had more ideas than I've had time. So a fight club for YouTube trolls. Yeah, I could think of a couple. Anyways, Peak Time very generously allows the next person to take his spot, partly because we are a little limited for time. I got maybe 45 minutes left. GSBA Shadows. I reviewed your channel once. Again, it was probably a long time ago. I would love a review. You've done mine before, but you've changed some stuff. I imagine, because that was probably like, God, that was some of the first ones I did, I think, that you were around for. Like, I think that was when I was still doing it on Facebook Live, maybe? So let's go take a peek. I've learned so much since then. I mean, even just... I had to... The video I put out on Vacation Impossible today is a tutorial about how to check in for your cruise online for Carnival Cruises. And I was just comparing some aspects of my previous version of that, which I did, yeah, I guess about a year ago, 9 months ago now, something like that. They changed the website, so I made a version 2.0 of my tutorial, basically. And even over that period, some of the stuff I'm doing now that I wasn't doing then, like I'm playing around with metadata. So what I'm doing, it's a crazy conspiracy theory and there might be nothing to it, but it takes me 2 seconds, so why not? Once my video and my thumbnail's done, I will right-click on the file and choose Properties, and I will go in and I will add, you can add a title, a subtitle, comments, tags, and author to the file, both for like an MP4 and a JPEG. And I do that for both. And because I'm just thinking, like the algorithm in YouTube, they eat up all this data, right? Are they not looking at that part of the file? I imagine they probably are, right? So it's another opportunity for keyword alignment. And like one of the things I do, which is silly, I think it doesn't do anything for me, but again, it takes 2 seconds. I upload my thumbnails to Flickr. And so when I started doing that, and I would upload the JPEG to Flickr, normally you have to type in your tags, but it was actually pulling the tags out of the properties of the file, the metadata, and it populated it. So for one thing, it made that a tiny bit faster. It was one step I didn't have to do. But if Flickr, who, what was it, they were owned by Yahoo, I think they still are, or like Grubhub or somebody bought them. But seriously, if they are pulling that metadata and using it effectively, you got to imagine that somebody as big as Alphabet, Google, YouTube, they're probably doing that too. And I know that like thumbnail pictures are searchable through like Google image search to a degree. And so I think the meta tags help there. So that's something I've been experimenting with for a few months now. I don't know if it's doing anything, but for 2 seconds out of my day, it's worth a shot. So, okay, GSBA shadows. So we've got a picture of you with sort of a mask thing with like a not quite Wu-Tang Clan logo on it, which is a little reminiscent. I think I remember it looked something like that before, but it was like this is sort of a cartoon style. I think it was a little less cartoon last time. I don't recall. Welcome to the channel. On this channel, we do many different kind of content. On this channel, I do movie, TV show reviews. So, I'm going to be a little brutal here, just because it saves time and it gets the message across clearly. You say channel 3 times. And it's not until you say the word movie that you give me, honestly, any kind of information. And so, again, I've spoken about this before, but your channel description is something a lot of people ignore, but the people who don't ignore have a competitive advantage. So let's take every advantage we can get, make it as good as we can. And what I really like looking at is the beginning of it, because if you show up in search results, that's where the very beginning is going to show. Let's use this early space, this above the fold space, very tactically, strategically, choose your word. So in a video, you could say, welcome to my channel. Honestly, my personal preference, I was thinking about this the other day, I kind of want to strike that from our lexicon because, I mean, I don't know, but I'm curious. Does someone saying welcome to my channel do anything for you? I'm honestly curious. Does it make you feel welcome? Is it a great way to begin and ease into whatever the topic is? Or is it just filler? Is it a rhetorical crutch? Is it the equivalent of saying, you know, is it like, I don't know how to start it, so I started it by saying welcome to my channel? I don't know. I'm starting to feel that way, but that could just be me. So if it does add something, I don't think it adds it in text. I think it adds it when you maybe say it in video, possibly, to actually be welcoming. But typing it out, especially in a channel description, you're not actually describing things. You're welcoming people to the channel. And let's say focus. A description should describe things, right? And so, for example, if you were posting a link to your channel in my Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost, we have a rule. You have to have at least 2 words of description of the content. And so, welcome to my channel. On this channel, we do many different kind of content. On this channel, I do. Up to that point, no words of description. It's only when you say movie, TV show reviews. That would get it approved. But if you stopped before that, I'd have to reject the post. So, begin there. Begin with movie/TV show reviews. Maybe drop the slash, because if you take out all those channels and the rhetorical stuff at the beginning, you have more space to work with. So you could say movie and TV show reviews, and then go from there and sell yourself and or explain yourself. Do it simultaneously. That's what I highly recommend for your channel description. Channel descriptions have limited values, so let's dive in and see what else we can find. 497 videos. That is prolific. That is impressive, my friend. I'm impressed with that number. I think that on Social Blade, when you hit your 500th upload, they put a little badge next to you. And so it could just be an arbitrary thing that Ergo has done with Social Blade. But part of me wonders if, and Ergo's awesome, by the way. He's a great guy. He donates to the Mario Marathon every year, like at least $1,000. Super great guy. But maybe it's just something that they do, but I wonder if something inspired them to do it. I wonder if maybe the algo, maybe there's a threshold there. I don't know. I'm pushing to get my Vacation Impossible channel to 500 uploads, hopefully by the end of this calendar year, because I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I suspect that there might be an algorithmic advantage to having that threshold passed. That maybe gives you, you know, because basically what the algorithm does is it's sort of assigning a very complicated score. It's doing more than that, but it's a simple way of thinking of it. And so anything I can do to bump up my score, even a tiny little bit, could have a huge advantage over time. And so I'm wondering if having more than 500 uploads helps you just that tiny, tiny little bit that could make the next difference. 1% difference. Do that enough times, you know. You think of Any Given Sunday, Al Pacino's speech about, you know, a game of inches, and we'll fight and we'll claw and we'll kill for that inch. It's not that different with YouTube, except it's algorithmic and it's more of a mystery. When you're playing football, whether we're talking football or soccer, whatever, hockey, you see the distance and you know where the goal is, and it's really quite clear when you're making progress and when you're not, for the most part. I mean, sometimes you got to take the puck back and go around the other guy, but generally speaking, I guess football's a better metaphor. You know when you're gaining yards. You know when you get that first down. You know that, and I'm not a big football fan, so I might be getting some of the terminology wrong and confusing the American and Canadian rules. And the point is, you know what progress looks like. You know what the goal is, and it's very clear from here to there. Makes it better. But on YouTube, it's not so clear, and that's part of what I'm here to do is try and clarify what that is. But that's the thing is, we got to fight for every little advantage, because ask yourself this: are you content to let yourself sit back and be held back, be chained by some little technological thing? You know, maybe I don't want to add end screens. Okay, but that's one thing that could be working for you. Don't want to add info cards. Okay, but so, you know, that's like saying, well, I could take another inch on you know, getting me closer to that first down, getting me closer to that touchdown, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. I mean, artistically, there can be good reasons. If it's an artistic choice, then I can respect that. And you want to get there in your own particular way, and that's fine. But if you're all about like growth, if that's your top priority right now, you got to do all the things. So you got your channel trailer, and that's one of those things, very important. 2 minutes and 5 seconds, a little bit on the long side, but depending on what the content is, if it's good to hold interest, that could be fine. I only just recently made my first channel trailer for Vacation Impossible. I'm very proud of that. Hey, new people to this channel, welcome to the Alliance. If you have subscribed, so enjoy. So I'm noticing that the grammar in the English is a little hard to read, both on your channel description and your description of your channel trailer. So I think that could use some polish. And again, there's nothing here. It goes straight from that to subscribe to our channels, and then there's links. So what I would do is I would replace that initial sentence really with something that describes your channel. You know, here GSBA Shadows, we do XYZ. That kind of thing. And I think I've spoken about that before in relation to this channel as well. Your banner is kind of cool. It's got some interesting things going to it. I keep being drawn to the faces on the right-hand side for some reason. That guy in front of Spider-Man is like, I don't know. But it's interesting because it's, yeah, I don't know. It's combining a lot of different styles, so it doesn't feel like it has a consistent aesthetic. For one thing, the text can be moved up just a little bit because it's being truncated a touch on my desktop here. The text is good, though. The background against which it's all set, and I guess that the cartoon of you doesn't seem to mesh with the images of the different characters. They seem like they're in different resolutions and different styles and different lighting and context. Actually, the lighting's pretty consistent. They all have the light source on this side, so kudos to you there. You got the characters they're all lit from the same side. That's pretty good. But yeah, so I think the image that you have, one thing that I might suggest doing, if you find yourself struggling with graphic design, and I do as well, is there is a service called TalentZ, which I do have a link to below, an affiliate link. Video's not sponsored. But for $7.99 a month, they do offer unlimited graphic services. So they'll do thumbnails, they'll do profile pictures, and I think they'll do banners as well. And it can take anywhere from like 1 to 10 days to get it turned around from you submit your request to getting the result. But if you've seen me on Facebook, you see I have an animated avatar that came from TalentZ. That was one of the things they did for me. So it might be worthwhile to do that to see what they could come up with for you for a banner and what they might be able to do for a profile picture. I mean, you don't have to use it, but it might not be a bad idea to try as an alternative. And honestly, sign up for like 1 month, try it out. It's $8 out of your pocket, and then just cancel if you don't like it. Or even if you do like it, if you get everything you need in a month, you probably don't need to continue the subscription if you've got your value out of it. So maybe, I don't know. Give it a try. It's worth a shot. They do have other services that they provide, consultations, which I haven't tried yet, and some other things. But you know, if it's just the graphics thing, it also then, I mean, it's relatively reliable. You're not taking the kind of risks that you would take with like a Fiverr thing, where a lot of people, there have been a lot of well-documented instances on Fiverr where people were basically passing off other people's work. I know it happened with Roberto Blake. A lot of people, like, they stole his some of the stuff that he had designed, and then they were selling it on Fiverr as their own, and Fiverr did nothing to resolve the issue. And so that's one of the reasons I don't think I'll ever use Fiverr. is because it's kind of the Wild West, and you can kind of get screwed in a lot of different ways, and you could end up with something you don't have the rights to using. So I wouldn't risk it. I would go with something reputable like Talency, because Talency, much like TubeBuddy, is YouTube certified. So you know you're dealing with people who are professional, and that you'll have the rights to use in any way you want the stuff they produce without somebody knocking down your door saying, hey, this was stolen. So, or maybe, you know, just never getting the thing. I don't know. So that's some thoughts there. You got awesome people and popular channels. That's pretty good. Uploads, Doom gameplay, Friday the 13th gameplay, movie reviews, horror cast. So you're doing well here. The one I would add at the very bottom is popular uploads as a horizontal playlist. YouTube will update that for you based on the number of views that the video has once you put it, so it's a set it and forget it. But it's a nice thing if someone were to come to your channel and say, like, oh, okay, I've seen a couple things, it's kind of interesting. What's his most popular stuff? What's his best stuff? I often get asked, send me your best video. I'm like, man, I don't know. I've got 400 plus videos on one channel, 70 plus on this channel. The best? There's some that have more views. There's some that, you know, were fun to film. Some that, you know, have better image quality. You know, some have better jokes. Like, there's just tons of different reasons and metrics you could use for best. So this will just have at least a place that someone on their own volition, without having to bother you, could find out what your most popular, most viewed videos are. I mean, there's another way to do it manually. You click on videos and you sort them by most popular, but let's show it to them nice and easy to try and draw them in. And then, you know, people can kind of see. So that might not be a bad idea. Let's check Channelytics. So I have my TubeBuddy installed. Browser plugin includes Channelytics. Even the free version has this, I do believe. I do highly recommend it. If you're doing YouTube without TubeBuddy, then I don't think you're fully trying. I don't mean to sound harsh, but honestly, and I mean, hey, I only found it in August myself. I haven't even been using it a year, but it was the thing that got me across the line for monetization. And so it's helped me in so many ways. And I could not do these channel reviews effectively today without it. Because here, it's telling me what your channel tags are. So I know, okay, gaming channels, that's a little interesting, that is the plural. Movie reviewing channels, gaming movie reviews. I think that could use some tweaking. Yeah, like you play Doom. You've got a playlist for Doom. How about Doom gameplay? Something like that might be a good one to include. Some things that align with some of your more successful videos, perhaps. So when you first come into the Channelytics, because of, I don't know, reasons, it doesn't display subscribers properly. You have to toggle to something else and then back. So I've done that. Just kind of looking at some sub growth. So we've got a sub on March 11th and March 24th. Did videos come out those days? March 11th and March 24th. There you go. So, but of course videos came out other days. There were some days where you had 2 videos come out in a single day. So, I think, but this does once again reconfirm my theory that nothing helps your channel like putting out a video. There is a direct correlation, if not causation, between the video you put out on the 11th and the 24th to the subscribers you picked up on those days. So, I said this a lot, but this just proves it one more time. If you're sitting there and you haven't put out a video yet today, and you're wondering, what should I do to help my YouTube channel? Answer number 1, put out a video every single time. Once you've got a video out in a particular day, then the answer changes. Maybe SEO, maybe some TubeBuddy stuff, maybe looking at your channel tags, channel description, whatever, designing a banner, etc., etc. The biggest thing you can do to help your channel any given day, get a video out. So, however, I think that having more than one video out in a day can get a little problematic. So when you upload a video, there are 3 time frames that are absolutely important to understand. The first hour, the first day, the first week. So let's break that down. The first hour results in something that is colloquially known as view velocity. This is the number of views you get in the first hour. Now, rightly or wrongly, YouTube has decided that this is an incredibly important metric. They see it as a sign of the level of engagement of your subscribers. So if your subscribers are subscribed, that's fine, but the way that YouTube works nowadays, they don't really display the videos to them, unless you have notifications on. So for example, those of you who are subscribed to this channel, highly recommend you turn on notifications so you can join us in live streams early so I can get to your request. That's how GSBA Shadows is getting his channel looked at right now. He was here early. Might have been because he had notifications on. I'm going live every Friday this month, and at least at least once or twice in May. I'm working on, I think, May 31st. I'm going to be going live in the evening as well. So lots of opportunities, but a lot of competitions. Try to get here early, notifications. So the reason that that's important is YouTube can see, all right, there's the subscribers, then there's subscribers with notifications, then there's the subscribers with notifications who actually watch the video, who actually watch that video in that critical first hour. Very important. A couple of reasons. One is that engagement with the subscribers, and you know, are they going to click on that video? Because maybe you put out a lot of videos. Maybe you put out 2 or 3 videos every week, but even people with notifications don't watch all of them. Which ones do they watch? The ones they watch are probably going to be more successful for one reason or another. The title, the thumbnail, something. So that's part of it. Another important part of it, in that first hour, and I haven't really talked about this before, but I've gained some insight watching some Roberto Blake and some other things. And I've seen some evidence of this myself. It makes sense intuitively. Interactions in that first hour is critical too. So if you're getting a lot of thumbs up, thumbs downs, and comments. Now remember, a thumbs down is not necessarily a bad thing. A thumbs up is better. Both of them are interactions. YouTube wants you to cause a reaction, to have a connection, to do something, to inspire something in the audience, even if it's a thumbs down. So a thumbs down helps you. A thumbs down is +1 point to House Hufflepuff. A thumbs up is like +10, and a comment is like +15. Now, I made those numbers up, but that's the basic understanding, is that a thumbs down helps you a little bit, a thumbs up helps you more, a comment helps you a whole lot more. So as much as you can get that in the first hour as well, the views that you get in the first hour are more important than the views in the first day, more important than the views in the first week, and much more important than the views after the first week. Because YouTube's got this new shiny toy of your video, and they don't know what the hell it is. And they're trying to figure it out. And so they look at the things like the words you say, the captions if you have them, the title, the description, the tags, all sorts of stuff like that. But they also look at how people respond to it. So if you made, I don't know, let's say you made a video that you titled the best Spice Girls songs of all time, you know, hashtag 90s music. And all of the comments are talking about Fortnite. That's going to be a disconnect. It does not compute for the algorithm. The algorithm's going to be like, the comments don't mention anything from the title or the description or the tags. Well, that's weird. So that may or may, like, but they're getting interactions, and so that's okay. But then imagine this. Let's say you put out that video and it was like, oh, you know, favorite Spice Girls of the Spice Girl moments of the 90s or something. And people are like, oh, I love the Spice Girls moment, and oh, I love Spice World, and oh, Scary Spice was awesome, and all this kind of stuff. And so then the algo's like, hey, that's definitely what that video is about. That's what they're talking about in the comments. So in that first hour, if you can get views, great. If you can get thumbs up, thumbs down, even better. If you can get comments, even better. The next level above that, if you can get comments that are actually talking about the subject matter, where the comments contain the keywords. Now, not comments necessarily written by you, but by your audience. That's great. That is next level stuff that will really help your video. And so that first hour is really critical because they want to figure out, okay, what's it all about, and what rate of viewership can we expect? And so on top of that, we're talking views, interactions. We're also talking watch time. Are they watching it for a second and clicking off? Ooh, maybe that wasn't accurately titled. Maybe it pissed people off. What's going on? So if your retention is high, that will result in higher watch time. And so in that first hour, we talk velocity. Why are we using that word? Because it talks something about anticipated watch time. So if in that first hour you get a high number of views that watch it for a long amount of time, YouTube's like, yeah, that video's money in the bank, baby. I'm going to show that around. That's going to keep people on my platform watching my ads, making me more popular. That video's going to work for me. So those things are all really important in that first hour because that's some of the first data signals that the algorithm receives. So then you got your first 24 hours, which is similarly important, but it's a longer time frame. And it's not necessarily so much driven by notifications at that point. It could be just people encountering it throughout their day. And so, you know, that first 24 hours is also important. Then you get to that first week. And the first week, it's been said that the first week on YouTube is the only week on YouTube, which can be true for certain kinds of content. There's certain things like how-tos that probably are evergreen, that are hero content, that'll last a nice long time, but even they need to have a good first week to do well in search and recommended. So in that first week, you've got a video up, and it actually has a tag on it that says new. And that is to signal to the audience that it's a newer video. Like, for example, if I want to watch some news reports, if I want to know what's going on with, I don't know, Robert Mueller or somebody, then, you know, I will probably go through, and if I don't see a new tag, then I know that that video is more than a week old. And so that information, in the fast-moving pace of, like, markets or politics or, you know, other things, it's outdated. It could be so old as to mislead me, you know. If the market was up a week ago, like, okay, here, the Canadian dollar. If the Canadian dollar is doing better, it's a great time for me to pay off a cruise, because those payments are made in American dollars. So if I see a report that says Canadian dollar is booming, great. But if it's a week old and the dollar tanked since then, I'm making a poor choice based on old information. So that's part of it, is it shows your audience you're new. Your video's new. But the other thing is the algorithm is still in that early stage, still getting to know you. So they got that first hour to understand sort of how engaged your subscribers are likely to be. They get that first day to kind of see a 24-hour period, different times of day in different time zones, how it's doing. Now you've had your solid week. You've had your chance. This is the period where you get your chance, where you'll show a little higher in search and recommended, because it wants your video to be exposed to a large enough audience that it can get some data on, hey, people are watching it or people are not clicking on this. Things like click-through rates. At a week, that's when YouTube's like, you know what? Statistically significant sample size. I have confidence in what this video is going to be like for pretty much forever. And so after that week, it doesn't revise its opinion of the video nearly as much. The impact isn't as big. So you got to get it started off strong. That's why things like upload times are important for that first hour, first day, first week. So why am I talking about all this? Because, and I've tested this time and time again. In fact, you want me to check it right now? And I bet I'm going to see it another time. Every time I upload a video, my real-time views go up a little bit. Looks like it's happening right now. So, on Vacation Impossible, because I just uploaded a tutorial video. So, when you have a new video, even if that video sucks, even if it tanks, even if nobody frickin' watches it, it helps you. Now, it might not help long-term algorithmic momentum and stuff, but here's how it helps you in the moment. When you have a video that's tagged as new, that actually benefits your entire back catalog a little bit. It's like a little +1 on all of them. Because this is an active channel. This is a channel that put up something within the last week. And so I've seen it. I put out a video, and it tanked. It sucked. It was a bomb. It fell on its face. Nobody watched it. But all my other videos suddenly, a little bit more views, a little bit more views on all of them. And I didn't change anything else. So it seems to me a very clear causal relationship. I've seen it time and time again. So, but that +1 goes away after a week, right? So that's why 2 videos in one day, you got 2 videos in the same 24-hour time frame, competing for the attention of your subscribers, whether or not they have notifications or not. They're competing with each other in that critical 24 hours. And so that's a little problematic, I think. I don't think you want your videos competing against each other in that way. I mean, you want synergistic videos, videos on a theme where they can, you know, link back to each other. That kind of stuff is fine. But on the same day is problematic because it might be cannibalizing your audience a little bit because they might not have time to watch everything. So if you're ready to put out 2 videos today, great, put out one and then wait on the other one for tomorrow. And maybe you end up having a little back catalog if you're producing videos rapidly, but that's great because if you get sick, then it's easy to put out a video. Ugh, feel like crap. I'm just going to upload this thing. I already made the thumbnail. Here's some tags. I'm going back to bed. Then you've got more consistent regularity of output of videos. And so that's what I recommend is you want to smooth out this curve. Those 2 that were 2 in one day could have been 2 days of, you know, a video a day. And then remember that +1, +1, +1. It becomes sort of like almost like a force multiplier. So there's that. Let's take a look at the views here. So a bit of a bump on the 18th. And, oh, no video on the 18th. That's interesting. But you may have shared it socially somewhere. It's interesting. I see you've got Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. I'm curious what you're doing on Patreon, partly because I've been asked by some of my audience to create one for Vacation Impossible, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm open to ideas. I've got the Vacation Impossible t-shirt that I sell, so I'm thinking of offering a discount code to the patrons. And I'm trying to think of like other things that I would have behind that sort of paywall because I want to add value. But I'm curious how you might be using Patreon effectively. And is it effective? How many patrons do you have? Is it doing well for you? If you don't want to answer, I respect your privacy. It's not a problem. I'm just curious. Checking the About page here. You're in the UK. That's cool. That's interesting. And yeah, so like proper grammar, spelling, capitalization, it's more important than you'd think. I don't think your audience would ever tell you it because I think it's a slightly subconscious thing. But when I see someone says, you know, why I started YouTube, I started because I was bullied at school. Okay, that's important to talk about, and I think that that's a good why that you have there. And I certainly don't want to pile on, but if you capitalize those I's, so that it just looks like you've taken that extra effort. Your audience will respect you when you put in the extra effort. I used to do some stage performances, acting and things like that. I used to do improv comedy. And when I would do that, something that like the teachers and coaches would often say is that anytime you have the opportunity to show something has been rehearsed, it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be smart. But if it's you and another person up on stage and all you're doing is moving in synchronicity or something, the audience loves it. They might even have trouble articulating why they love it. They love it because I think at a subconscious level, they know you put in the effort. And so they're kind of surprised by it, and it shows respect for the audience and stuff like that. And so that's one of the small ways that we can do that. And when those moments are missed opportunities, or it looks a little less like the effort has been put in, I think the audience sometimes feels disrespected. Might be too strong a word, but I think they take notice in a way that is almost subconscious. So let's try to have every advantage working for us is sort of my advice there. But also that synchronicity rehearsed thing, I think that's a big part of why boy bands are popular. You know, you get 5 guys up there all moving in, you know, at the same time and stuff, and the audience just loves it. Why do they love it? You know, there's reasoning. And I think part of it is because you're showing the effort. Operation Life, if you're a YouTuber without TubeBuddy, you're doing it wrong. 100%. I have no patrons, so I don't use it much. I'm waiting to get some. Yeah, there's probably a chicken and the egg problem there. I upload 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. That's cool. Hey, if you can keep it going, all the more power to you. Jerome from Gotham. Yeah, I haven't watched Gotham. Watched the first episode. I've got some of it, but I haven't actually watched it. I find that Patreon is not worth it. Yeah, you know, I signed up for an account because I was actually a patron of Pat Contry's off and on here and there. And and then I started to go through the process when I got the request from some of my fans. Hey, you know, create a Patreon. We want a Patreon. I'm like, sure, I'll do whatever you say. I'll be your monkey. And then I was going through the process, and it gets to a point where you actually have to have a video. If you're going to have a Patreon, you have to have a video. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do it right. I want to do it in a way that is of a sufficient quality and on brand for my channel, for Vacation Impossible. So I'm going on a cruise in May, and so I plan on filming some sort of Patreon video then on location, on the cruise ship or at a destination that we can then use, because that's kind of how we do on Vacation Impossible. We record our podcasts on location. We'll do it in a hotel, on a cruise ship, wherever. You know, a guy's living room while we're traveling, whatever we can. And that's part of the whole Vacation Impossible thing, is we film on location. So I want to do that. But I gotten partway through the sign-up process as a creator, so I got onto like their mailing list for potential creators, and so they send me different things. And one thing that they sent me, I didn't really read the whole thing, but the subject line was quite interesting. It was like, why Patreon isn't for growing your audience. And I think that's an important message and something that people understand. Patreon is not social media. It is not. It is not where someone goes to get discovered. You must already have an audience, and the audience wants something from you specific. They want access, they want unique content, they want something. I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but it's not Twitter. It's not Instagram, Facebook. It's not where you go to promote yourself. It's not Pinterest. It's something very different. And I think the people who use it successfully understand that. And so I'm still trying to understand. That's why I ask when I see Patreon, I want to ask people, because I'm trying to learn. I think good YouTubers are constantly wanting to learn. And yeah, that's something that I'm trying to understand. But it's about a deeper connection to your true fans, I think, more so than it is where you find your true fans, where you find new fans. So I think all of us who are not yet successful on Patreon, haven't created one yet, or thinking about it, I think that's something important to keep in mind, is how can it be us serving a need of our fans, giving them something that they want. So maybe it's a poll about what if you're a gamer, what game do I play next? Maybe that is for your patrons. A little something special for them. Maybe, you know, I know some people do Google Hangouts. They have blog posts that they write in there, different things. My natural inclination is if I'm going to write a blog post, I want it somewhere that's going to SEO people into my channel. I want it to be a funnel that drives people straight to the YouTube channel. So putting that behind a paywall sounds crazy to me. But maybe at some point that'll make sense. I don't know. But letting the patrons decide, I don't know, topics for my podcast, I'd be happy to do that. That might be an idea. So just thinking about that. Operation Life talks about Amazon affiliate links. Yeah, I'm thinking about giving that a try. Not necessarily to make money, but it's something people talk about here and in the group, and I want to educate myself so I can speak intelligently about it. What are the pitfalls? What are the benefits? What are the risks? What's the smart way to do it? I think I'll learn a lot by trying, and so I am starting to form an idea. I've got a couple videos that I might launch to push the affiliate thing, because I understand it. I think it's like your first 30 days are kind of important, and you need to make a certain number of clicks or sales. I'm not sure. I've seen conflicting information. Some things say yes, some things say no, so maybe they made a change. I don't know. Does your name's length affect a channel? It could. You know, searchability and SEO and truncation are factors. Anyways, let's see. Who is next? Bout Kang. Are you still kicking around? Let's see if you've lodged a request, because you're next. And probably only have time for one more. This time's getting a little tight. I don't see you still here. It's kind of lightning around. Let's see, who else was chatting? Operation Life, your comment the other day really touched me, man. Like, that was awesome. Just helped draw out a scammer today. Yeah, in the Facebook group. That's one of the things I do sometimes. And it's gotten me some flack by some people. It's weird. I love the Facebook group and I love the community there, but some people are like, they watch me like a hawk. And it's like, you know, oh, Ray commented on this thing that shouldn't have been posted. And it's like, yeah, maybe Ray's trying to find out what their real intent is. And so, you know, I often don't have the time to do it so much anymore. But like a year ago, I had more time. I was doing it more. So somebody would be like, hey, let's support each other. And I'd be like, hey, what the hell do you mean? Or I'd be like, sure, what does that look like? You know, and they were like, Ray, it's obviously sub for sub. I'm like, no, it's not obviously. I can't just assume the worst about people. I gotta allow for the possibility that I've assumed wrong. And so unless they're clearly saying it, then I'll go and I'll be the canary in the coal mine, and I'll be like, they'll sometimes, and I haven't done this one in a long time because I've been so busy, but they used to be like, hey, DM me. I'm like, all right, why am I DMing you is the message I would send. And they'd be like, sub for sub, bro. And I'd be like, banned. You know, but if it was like, somebody could have been like, oh, hey, I just wanted to talk one-on-one with something. I've got this embarrassing problem about my YouTube channel and I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to have a public conversation about it. So, you know, people make those assumptions, and it drives me nuts, these armchair moderators who are just like, Ray, you shouldn't have approved this. have a little faith. And so we do have some people in the group who will be helpful, because if someone says, hey, inbox me, and Ray doesn't have the time to do it, and you inbox them and they come back with sub for sub and you send me a screenshot or you post a screenshot of that, then I can just go in and ban them, and it saves me having to do that. So I do appreciate when people are willing to do that, but, you know, don't be jerks and keep an open mind is my advice. I mean, that's good advice for life, I think. That's a little behind the scenes there. I think one day it would be fun to do a live stream of nothing but going through and approving and rejecting posts, so y'all could see what that's like. Because it's like, no description, no description, no description, sub for sub, ban them, no description, no description, hey, I get to approve one. And the thing is, we've got post pre-approval, so if I see that you're consistently writing descriptions that are good, gamers, easy, mention the game you're playing, you'll get it. It's easy for you. You know, travelers, mention the destination you're highlighting, boom, you'll get it. You know, makeup channels, name the product you're reviewing, boom, you'll get post pre-approval. Just make it clear what you're about. And you know what? Pro tip, little secret behind the scenes thing that I do. I basically, if it's like a channel trailer, I generally just kind of approve it, because, you know, I don't want to steal the thunder of the channel trailer saying what it's about. So I sometimes am a little softy, not always. So I mean, if it's, hey, channel trailer for my gaming channel where I play Overwatch, boom, that's definitely getting through. But the other thing is comedy. I get that comedy is not good if you have to explain it. I heard this wonderful thing a few weeks ago. Good user interface design, good software design is, what was it? If you have to explain it, you've failed. If it has to come with instructions, you failed. And I'm like, I like that. That is solid. I like when it's intuitive, right? And the same thing with jokes. If you have to explain it, you failed at making the joke. So when I see somebody says, hey, comedy, a skit, a sketch, a comedy, hopefully this makes you laugh. If I see those buzzwords, secret, I just approve that stuff. Now, the other mods may or may not use the judgment differently, but that's how I operate it, because it's like, yeah, you know, if it's like, here's a sketch in which I pretend to be, you know, a clown, but I'm actually something else, and it's like, you're having to spoil the joke in the description, and I don't want to make people do that. So that's just a little behind-the-scenes thing there, if you're at all curious about that. I didn't know Canadians say y'all. Well, I travel a lot, so I don't know. I could try and slip some more Canadiana in there if you want. I don't think... I'm still here with Love a Channel Review. Okay, lightning round channel review. Because I've got not a whole lot of time. Lightning round. About Kang. Okay, pretty nice picture. I like that in the profile. Inquiries. Okay, so you start off by disclosing your email address. Couple problems there. One, as a search thing, that's not great. Not good SEO. Doesn't tell you what your channel's about. And here's the thing. When you put your email out there like that, bots and spiders and automated scripts can go and they can capture your email. Anything that's formatted in, you know, something at something dot something, that's the structure that they know that's an email. They're going to get it, add it to a list. They're going to add you to a spam list, and you're going to get a signal to noise problem as you grow. So that you'll be getting so many like spam and cold emails that when a legitimate sponsorship email comes in, you might not see it because it's surrounded by all the crap. So, I hope you don't mind me being blunt here, but it's lightning round. Don't have time to be nice. So, I recommend taking that out. There is in your About section, and I'll check that later if I've got time, a place where you can put your email where they have to click to reveal it. And that is great. That will block out the bots, and it will make sure that, you know, but the professionals will still have access to contact you if they're serious about it. So, I recommend doing it that way. Hello there. I would drop hello there. It's not searchable. Doesn't tell people what your channel's about. My name is Bao Kang. I'm a fashion blogger and content creator from California. Awesome. So honestly, I would start with, I'm Bao Kang, a fashion blogger and content creator from California. Maybe even drop content creator because it doesn't necessarily say much. And then go from there. Intrigue people, tell people what you do, why you do, that kind of thing. But that's what I would start. Start with your name to reinforce the SEO on your channel name, and just go straight into what you're all about right at the beginning so it displays there. All the videos here are from you. Your thumbnails look very nice and on point. I think you're doing quite well there. So let's dive into the channel. 47 videos, 239 subscribers. Clock is ticking. Lightning round. Forever 21 BOGO free sale haul. Cool. I like the sort of the graphics you were using at the beginning with your intro. I like some of the aesthetic of what you're doing here with your banner. It's a nice minimalist, which I like. The signature is a little hard to read, but I think it actually fits in with the style. So I think you're kind of okay there, and since it is your name, not telling people what it's about, whereas you say, style blogging my way through life, that's great. Putting it in quotation marks is interesting. Sometimes people put things in air quotes because they're being sarcastic, and sometimes people put things in quotes because they're quoting someone else. Or you might be putting it in quotes because maybe it's your channel slogan. If it's a channel slogan, putting it in quotes is fine. Otherwise, I would consider removing the quotes and maybe increasing the font just a little bit so it's slightly more legible. But otherwise, I think it's pretty good. I like the pictures, particularly the one on the top right, and the bottom right. The two on the right-hand side really pop. They're intriguing, they're interesting, they've got a good focus point, which is really quite good. The two on the left, I'm a little less enamored with. So if you're thinking about updating those at all, keep the ones on the right. Maybe consider swapping out the ones on the left. I don't know. Time is ticking away. So you've got popular channels. There can be a module that you activate where you get to recommend specific channels. I recommend you activate it. The algorithm will give you some points for that. Recommend channels that you like, that inspire you, or if you don't have people like that you necessarily want to put there, you could put Forever 21. They probably have an official channel, so people are like, oh, hey, cool. It shows that you support people, and it shows YouTube that you're using all the tools at your availability to take it seriously and succeed on the platform. They will reward you for it in the algorithm. You got links to Instagram, Facebook. What's this? Poshmark. I'm guessing that's a style thing. And a WordPress blog. All right, cool. Those links, they look proper. Nicely done there. You got uploads, that's good. Fashion hauls, nice use of emojis. You're not overdoing it, but you're making the name pop with some color and graphic there. I really like how you're using emojis on your playlist titles. I think that, like, I want to go look at my playlist titles and be like, I want to kind of steal that idea, to be honest with you. That is a nice look. You're using it very effectively. People can abuse emojis. You're not one of them, so thank you. Because also, I can't stand people who are like emoji, 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 title, emoji, emoji, emoji. I'm like, oh my god, just stop. It's lost. So you got lookbooks, fashion hauls, that's pretty good. Lifestyle only has 3 videos. I would recommend removing that from the homepage until it hits 5 videos so that it fills out the whole space. And the same with DIY, because you also, you got vlogs, dressing up to K-pop, that's kind of cool. Popular uploads. So you've got a lot there. So if you were to lose 2, I think it would tighten the focus, and minimalistic design aesthetic would be enhanced until those playlists are ready for prime time. But I don't think they're quite there yet. But that's yeah, it's looking pretty good, your layout there. Let's check Chanalytics quickly, my TubeBuddy tool. Hey, subscribers loaded without me having to toggle. Finally. All right, fashion, DIY, lifestyle vlog, arts and crafts. Those are good tags, but the problem is that they're short. For small YouTubers, we want long tail keywords because those are going to be very competitive. The longer ones are less competitive. You can own the hell out of something a little bit longer. Forever 21 fashion haul, something like that. The longer ones you'll have a better chance of ranking and performing better in. This is true of channel tags and video tags at the same time. So what you want to do is just own the hell out of the longer terms because they're less competitive, grow an audience from that, and then as you grow with your watch time, your views, your comments, as fuel, pushing you into a higher sort of level of attention, then you can start to target maybe the smaller ones and start to gain ground there. It's like a stepping ladder to success in terms of SEO terms you go to. So I recommend that. Let's see. So you've got pretty steady subscriber growth, not huge pits or valleys. Views are relatively steady. You've got a bit of an uptick here on April 5th. Who wants to bet a video came out April 5th? Boom! Proven once again. I'll take a victory lap. So again, more videos. The biggest thing you can do for your channel. Don't necessarily do it to sacrifice the quality, but if you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do today to support my channel? Working towards getting a new video out is the #1 thing you can do. So yeah, I mean, it looked, that video drove views. So you're doing pretty good there. Checking your about page. Layout is pretty clean, but like here you see under details, for business inquiries, click to view email address. That's where you want it. That's only where you want it. Don't have it up here for the reasons I discussed earlier is my advice. So this is pretty good. The only other thing that I would add is maybe talk about why you make the videos that you make is something that you can add a little further down. If somebody's intrigued and they want to know more and they want to understand you and maybe form an emotional connection, you can include that. That's my Lightning Channel review. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cap it there. I will be back a week from today. I'm not sure the exact time, but it is the month of Fridays, so I'm going to be going live every single Friday in August. It'll probably be around 1 p.m. Pacific time, give or take. Life gets in the way. Today had some technical issues, so that made it a shorter one. But I am Vacation Impossible, so I'm going to give you a mission if you choose to accept it. Your mission if you choose to accept it. We've got a weekend coming. That's 2 days. Get a video out. It sounds simple, but commit yourself. Say it with me now. You're alone at home watching this video. Your family's going to think you're crazy. Your cat's going to think you're weird. Maybe you got headphones on. Say it out loud. I'm going to get a video out this weekend. Commit to it. Make it happen. And then we can talk about how that went next Friday. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you can join me next Friday. It's been a slice. I appreciate all of you being here. And next time, I swear I'm going to try and have more time. I'm sorry this was a short one. Thanks for watching so much. Appreciate all you guys. This live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds.